Hey, I'm Sketches.n.Scrubs. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can find reference photos to paint and recreate. When I was starting off with my art, I didn't fully appreciate the fact that you can't just use any picture that you want. So just because it's on Google doesn't mean that it's free to use, doesn't mean that it's free for you to recreate. And sometimes in doing so, you're actually breaching copyright and infringing on somebody else's rights. So you're actually doing something wrong. As many of you know, I love to draw and paint florals. So for me, it's actually quite easy. And I guess depending on what you're painting and what you're drawing, it may be easy for you too. So first and foremost, just consider taking your own references. When you go out for walks or when you see anything that inspires you, just take a picture of it, save it in a folder. Then when you need to paint or when you need to draw, you can just look back on it, get that image without any concern as to whether this is copyright infringement or not. So as long as you're not taking pictures of somebody else's artwork and you're literally just taking a picture of whatever it is that you're referencing, then that should be fine. Next thing that you can do is in a similar vein, and that is consider asking family and friends if they can take reference photos for you. So for example, my sister likes to take pictures of sunset, and for the most part people will be more than happy. We already like taking pictures, we like putting things on Instagram, so it's not that far-fetched for them to take a picture and then send it to you, and you continue to build your reference photos, especially if you have friends from all over the world. The next things are royalty-free websites. It's an even bigger bank than I could ever accumulate, and free. So the ones that I tend to use and I tend to look across are Pixabay, Unsplash, and Pexels. They are good royalty-free websites that just have a ton of pictures that you can use that have been taken by other artists and photographers and shared for the world to see. Depending on what it is that I want to create, I think sometimes it's good to have a range of different references. So I will actually look for as many references as possible that I like, and then either draw inspiration from all of them to create whatever piece I want to create, or look across those websites and find which one I like most and then paint. The one thing that I do notice when looking at them is that sometimes there aren't as many images as I would like, which is why I tend to go across quite a few of them before I can find what I want, in comparison to Google search, for example, which will have hundreds of pictures, and the first ones that come up are usually quite accurate and quite close to what I want, which I may or may not be able to use. With these, for example, if I put in rose, there will be roses or all types of flowers, etc. So it's not a perfect system, but it's definitely better than infringing copyright or just not using a reference at all when you need one. There is the option to Google, but again, Google with caution. You can use it in two ways. You can change the settings. You do a Google search, but you turn on the filters so that you remove anything that's copyrighted or anything that's restricted. It just do like complete royalty-free images. The alternative is that you just Google royalty-free images, and then it will give you a list of other websites or other places where you can find these images that are not my three go-tos. So those would probably be the two safest ways of using it. If you were to just Google what you're looking for, you will find it, but chances are that you also don't have the right to use that image, and that means use it, recreate it, paint it, etc., especially if you're doing it for commercial use. In the same vein, Pinterest has so many images, and a lot of the time when I look online, I do see that artists will say, reference from Pinterest, and I think again you have to use it with some caution, because not everything that is in Pinterest is free for everybody to use. So just be mindful, just have a quick check. Last but not least, sometimes Instagram can also be a good source of inspiration. If you find that somebody has a page with lots of references, then, or lots of things that you find inspiring, then consider asking the artist, do you mind if I paint this or if I draw this? For the most part, people won't mind, but obviously if it's someone's livelihood or if someone has been burnt by it before, then they may say no. And if they say no, then that's fine. There are more than enough pictures on the internet and elsewhere for you to find something anything else without disrespecting that person's wishes. For me, it was very helpful to find these websites, and when I found them, I didn't understand why they weren't more publicly talked about. I hope that you found it useful. Just to reiterate, you can take the references yourself. You can ask family members to take the references. You can use the 3 royalty-free websites that I tend to go to, so that's Unsplash, Pixabay and Pexels. You can consider Googling, Pinterest, and last but not least, Instagram, with caution and with permission. If you have another suggestion, then please let us know down below in the comments. There are a lot of resources, and some of them I know, some of them I don't. So please feel free to get back to me and let other people here know as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. But yeah, I hope that you find that useful, and see you next week. Bye.